Hey, this is Plier. I'm here to talk to you about some arpeggio techniques for the right hand. The technique I'm going to be showing you today is taken from Mauro Giuliani, who was one of the best guitar virtuosos, an Italian guitarist who lived in the early 19th century, also a composer for the guitar. He wrote a study called the 120 Studies for the Right Hand, which is basically 120 right hand arpeggios. And they can come in really handy for developing your right hand technique. I'm just going to talk about a couple of those today, but I'm going to talk about how to execute them properly. The arpeggio that I was going to show you, you use your P, I, M, and A fingers for it. Starting on the 6th string, place each finger. Well, first I'll just show you the arpeggio that I'm going to get into. So if you speed it up. So basically what I'm doing is I'm playing P, I, M, A, first on the E, A, D, and G strings. And what I'm doing with my left hand, I'm just doing a C chord with a G in the bass. You can do it on the open strings if you want, or you can use a different chord. But just to let you know, that's what I'm doing. So C with the G in the bass. So first we play, this is the beginning, just on the bottom 6 strings. P, I, M, A. Then we move the shape down so that P is on the A string. All the other fingers are the same. We're not skipping any strings. So we have I on the D string, M on the G string, and A on the B string. And then the same thing with the thumb starting on the D string. And then we go backwards one time, so we go back to A. So okay, so now that you know which fingers to use and which strings to play on, one thing that's helpful to get some speed up with this exercise, and just to be clear, you don't want to start fast, you want to start incredibly slow as possible, without fudging up any notes. So probably, about maybe this speed. But when you do get to the point where you can play all the notes cleanly and you want to speed up, there are a couple of tricks that you can use for the right hand. First of all, thinking of this as a blocked movement can be helpful. So first, play in the position with your thumb on the E string, just as a blocked form. So play all the fingers at once. Then move down to the A string and repeat. Then with the D string, and back to the A string. So that helps your right hand move from one string to the next. So you're practicing skipping the strings here. And so going forward with this arpeggio, you can always rely on moving all the fingers at once and preparing them by having them on the strings before you play. So after you play the first set of notes, E, A, D, G, E, A, D, G, I'll just do it on the open strings now. Set up all your fingers on the next position down, A, D, G, B, before you even play. So all the fingers are already going to be down. Then one at a time, E, I, M, A. And then same thing here, we have our block starting on the D string. Before we even play, we have all the fingers in the order that they're going to play. We have them down already. So preparing the fingers like that can make the arpeggio faster. So unfortunately, the same trick doesn't work if you were to play backwards. If you were to play A, M, I, P, which but what you can do is prepare the A finger. So if you're doing the arpeggio backwards, the A finger is going to go to the B string before you play. You can also put the P on or near the A string. The other fingers you're not going to be able to put down. So G, D, A, G. Then prepare your A finger on the B string and your thumb on the A string. Then prepare your A finger on the E string and your thumb on the D string. If you can't do the thumb, the most important thing to do is get the A finger down first for speed. Remember that I'm using this chord, which is a C chord with a G in the bass. So, I'm telling you the names of the strings, not the names of the notes in the chord, just for clarification. A book that goes into even better detail about these kind of preparation techniques is The Art of Classical Guitar Playing by Charles Duncan. It's a really good book, and I strongly recommend reading it. It's not so much for beginners. You should be able to read notes a little bit, but there are aspects of that book that beginners can pick up on, especially as far as developing preparation techniques like I'm talking about. Before you play the arpeggio, you want to have your hand in a prepared position. So this kind of preparation can be applied to most arpeggios. So it's helpful for developing speed and accuracy if you can prepare your fingers before you play the arpeggio.